Hey y'all, what's going on? So if you haven't seen or checked out my latest Substack post, it was a piece on John Trumbull's arrest and captivity from 1780 to 1781. And what happened basically was he went to London in the year 1780. So this is during the height of the American Revolution. And he studied painting and art under Benjamin West, who was another American artist living in London at the time of the Revolution. And in late 1780, news reaches Great Britain of the hanging of Major Andre from New York, the British officer who was notoriously involved in Benedict Arnold's defection and negotiating Arnold's treason and attempting to help Arnold surrender West Point to the British, which failed because of Andre's capture. Well, American loyalists were outraged over Andre's capture, and they pretty quickly pointed fingers to Trumbull, who was reportedly to have made anti-British sentiment in correspondence with Benjamin Franklin during his stay in London studying portraits under West. And this led to an 8-month-long captivity where Trumbull was held by the British government. And he was finally released in 1781 and made it back to America. But this is, I think, a story that not a lot of people know about John Trumbull. We have a pretty good idea of who he was from a basic standpoint. We know him as the painter of the Revolution. We know that he painted portraits of famous Revolutionary War battles like the death of General Warren at Bunker Hill, the Battle of Princeton, the surrender of General Burgoyne at the battles of Saratoga, the surrender of Lord Cornwallis at Yorktown, the Declaration of Independence, which he first commissioned, or which he first started on in 1786, and by 1817 it was commissioned. And in 1806 he made a posthumous portrait of Alexander Hamilton, who had died 2 years before and who was a close friend of Trumbull. And in one of his last ever letters written in his entire life, Hamilton, days before his demise in his duel with Aaron Burr, wrote a letter to Trumbull warning him not to go to a secession convention in Hartford because he believed that the New England Essex juntos plot to divide the Union and secede from the rest of the United States over Jefferson's Louisiana Purchase would be a disaster and would bring ruin to the country. And Trumbull was said to have been one of many guests who reportedly attended that convention. And he's also the same guy who attended the July 4th, 1804 banquet at the Fraunces Tavern hosted by the Society of the Cincinnati, in which Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr were also in attendance at. Not a lot of people talk about these things regarding John Trumbull, and especially not a lot of people know about his connection to the Arnold-Andre affair, which coincidentally occurred in the same year that he moved from Paris to London to study paintings. More will be down in my Substack on the link below in the description if you want to check it out.